I talked about some of this in a protest in Halifax the other day with the Save Rural HRM group. One of the things that seems to be neglected, and it never seems to come up until it's too late, are the fact that we have bylaws on the books at City Hall that have been there since, quite frankly, God knows when. Certainly since at least 1996, an amalgamation. And I'm sure many of those came on the books because they just stayed on the books as the City of Halifax. Because remember, we're all the City of Halifax now, right? This whole issue with these two specific items are two examples of exactly that. Bylaws that make a ton of sense if you're building in on, I don't know, Woodlawn Road or Young Avenue, or maybe Young Street, I should say. Young Avenue kind of have their footage. In Halifax, because they have, 42, 46 feet of road frontage and they're quite happy? Well, we're not. If we have 100 feet, we're getting a little crowded. Neighbors are getting a little close. So the bylaws need to be gone through. And there's not just one or two bylaws that are up here that need to be gone through. The C&D processing plan was another issue of bylaw that needs to be gone through. Why does a person need to own the land before they can have an answer of the legitimacy of whether or not they can build? Why would you put a C&D processing plant in the middle of a residential community? Two bylaws right there. And I'm sure you can add and add and add. We need to be proactive with what we are doing. Development is happening. It's coming. It's going to continue to come out this way because we're the only tributary off of the Halifax City, Dartmouth area that is not already completely built up at this point. So we need to make sure that the bylaws have been gone through so that we don't need to have an uprising to make our point every time we go to make a point. What am I going to do to make sure that the bylaws are gone through? I'm going to go in there, and when they say, I don't know, welcome to council, Gail, what's on your mind? Or I'm just talking to other councillors. Listen, we've had all these situations in the past few years. They could have been dealt with had an appropriate bylaw been in place. How about we go through them, we find the ones that are not applicable anymore, we change them, we rewrite them, we amend them, whatever you want to use for terms, let's go do it. That'll create a system whereby we're not being reactive. We're dealing with the problems that could arise because we're different out here. The people's ideology is different. The way we want to live is different. The way we want things built is different. So we need to start being proactive with regards to things like this so that these things don't continue and these things are dealt with. Let me get these community groups out here in all these communities. Let's get our thoughts together and let's start telling staff, because they work for us. They work for all of us taxpayers out there. And let's get them to do their job this way. Thank you.